It's time for Braves baseball, and tonight from Turner Field, the Braves continue this long homestand here at Turner Field. We open up a weekend series with the last place Houston Astros. And all year long, Braves baseball on Peachtree TV is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Happy Friday night, friends. Joe, Tom, and Chip back at the ballpark where the Braves have a terrific homestand brewing. They've won 6 of the first 7 games on this long homestand. And, Joe, a chance to really gain some more ground with Houston in town.
They've got to keep this homestand going against a ball club that's not played well at all, and that's the Houston Astros, who are spending their last year in the National League and doing it in a woeful way. 3-28 since the 1st of July over their last 31 games, and on their way to maybe setting a record for fewest wins for a season on the road. They're next to last in starters ERA, dead last in the bullpen, and they've made a ton of transactions, including one today where they put Francisco Cordero, their closer, on the DL. But both these pitchers have good thoughts about going into the game tonight.
Yeah, they do. For Houston, Armando Galarraga will be making his second start of the year. He pitched his first time out against Pittsburgh, going 5 innings, pitching pretty well. 2 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And for the Braves, Tim Hudson will look to keep this homestand going, get this weekend off to a good start, and he's been pitching very well. Last 5 starts, 4-0. So look for him to go out there and give the Braves an opportunity to win again tonight and hopefully keep this very good homestand going.
The Astros were the first series victim of the Braves in the early days of this 2012 campaign. Remember, Chipper Jones had some heroic moments down at Minute Maid Park. We'll see if Chipper and the Braves can continue that good work against Houston tonight. Game 1 of the series, first pitcher lineups coming up right after this. Welcome you to Friday Night Braves baseball presented by Blimpie. Tonight it's game 1 of the weekend set. The Houston Astros provide the opposition. And Brad Mills' Astros have had a rough year. They're 35-71 for the season, but have some men at the top of the order that can give you some trouble. It starts with Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez. Those two had a very good series against the Braves down at Minute Maid Park. Brett Wallace is back from the minor leagues and is swinging a hot bat. He'll play first base. Carlos Corporan is the catcher. Former Brave Jordan Schaefer dropped all the way to the 8th slot on the lineup card. And Armando Galarraga, the former Tiger, will pitch and hit ninth.
We'll be facing right-hander Tim Hudson, making his 18th start on the year, 10-4 overall. And you see his numbers there against Houston in 6 career starts, 4-0 with a 1.4 ERA. So he's pitched very well against Houston. And on a little side note, Huddy going for his 100th win tonight as a Brave.
And his Ford Keys to pitching success tonight. Hudson, we have a problem. Actually, it's Houston who has the problem, but because he has never lost to them. He's 4-0 lifetime against the Astros with a 1.44 ERA. And I'm sorry, Huddy, but you missed the first 2 innings. You're going to have to start in the 3rd inning again tonight.
Worked well for him last time.
It worked real well last time out.
And Jose Altuve out of Maracay, Venezuela, goes to work first for Houston. And he takes called strikes, says Mike DeMuro, the home plate umpire. Jim Reynolds at first, James Hoy at second, and Jim Joyce is the umpire at third. Kind of disappointing we won't get to hear Jim Joyce call balls and strikes this weekend.
Yeah, he's unlike a lot of umpires. He lets you know.
And squibbed foul by Altuve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This guy's had a good year. 300 average, 118 hits. Stolen 20, make that 19 bases in 25 tries, has 25 doubles.
And was an all-star.
One general manager at the trade deadline was quipping about this Houston club. They were willing to trade everybody 5'7" and taller. Because they weren't going to let go of this kid. Altuve's very quickly become arguably their best player.
Well, he's from Maracay. That says enough. He's probably got some ability. Having a good year. Maracay compatriot there in Martin Prado.
And he's putting up a first at bat battle with Tim Hudson. Tom mentioned the troubles that this Houston club has had. They've won 35 games, but only 10 of those 35 are on the road. They are 10-44. Amazingly away from Minute Maid Park. And another foul ball down the third base line this time. Still 2-2.
You saw Brad Mills, their manager. It's a test for him every night in terms of his patience and trying to put his team in the best possible position to try and win.
It's not any fun when you go through a year like this as a manager, a player, a coach, anybody, but it's a little bit easier to deal with and handle versus the team that we just saw here with Ozzie Guillen, who was probably going through a lot of the same frustrations with a team that was supposed to be good.
Right.
And the Astros last year were coming off the first ever 100 loss season in the history of their franchise. This is their 50th year. Last year they lost 106 ball games. They may fly past that in 2012. In the air toward left center field, Michael Bourne makes a great try, but he trapped it. Altuve wins the battle and singles to start the game.
On the ninth pitch of the at bat, looked like Michael caught it, but the second base umpire James Hoy hustled out there and saw something we couldn't pick up on the replay, and that was that he trapped it.
So 119 hits for the pint-sized leadoff man for Houston, Jose Altuve, and that brings up Marwin Gonzalez. He's their shortstop. He had a good series against the Braves.
1 more look at that effort by Michael, and a good call. Clearly short hopped it.
And that's that one too. You're always worried when an outfielder dives like that, he's going to roll up over his wrist and hurt himself. And thankfully Michael didn't right there.
This is a definite rebuilding ball club. During this stretch where they've gone 3-25, they're only averaging 3 runs a game. So offensively challenged. They're not hitting at all with runners in scoring position. And in their lineup tonight, only one guy in double digits in homers, and that's J.D. Martinez with 11.
No balls, 2 strikes to Marwin Gonzalez. And that's fouled out of play. Gonzalez was originally a Cub. After a series of Rule 5 deals, he ended up with the Astros. With Starlin Castro playing shortstop in Chicago, probably wasn't a place for Marwin to play, but getting a chance with his Houston club.
He had a good series against the Braves in Houston beginning of the season, went 5 for 11.
Ground ball slowly right side. There'll be just one play. And Dan Uggla makes it. Altuve at second with 1 out. Here's the rest of the Braves lineup defensively. Prado, Bourne, and Hayward left to right in the outfield. Freddie Freeman and Chipper Jones, the corner men. And Brian McCann back behind the plate. This is Ben Francisco. Thinking back to our opening comments, Joe, the number of transactions and trades that Houston has gone through is absolutely mind-boggling.
It's been a revolving door.
.49 separate transactions and 9 trades. This following a busy trading period for Houston at the deadline last year too.
Yeah, big players last year in Bourne and Pence moving. Wandy Rodriguez, the biggest name moving this year.
Hot smash toward Giannis at short. No advance by the runner Altuve. 2 outs. And if you think about the players that Houston's traded away the last 3 years, you'd have a really good ball club. Think about Beltran and Berkman, Brett Myers and Jay Happ and Pence and Michael Bourne. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, they've definitely traded away some good players, and as much as this may be a rebuilding year or a rebuilding couple of years, it's not getting any easier next year when they move into the American League West. That's going to be a tough time for them, and probably some more headaches to come, I would think.
Brett Wallace was hit with the first pitch from Tim Hudson. And Wallace has been one of the hottest Houston hitters.
He didn't make a whole lot of effort to get out of the way. There's a lot of meat on that leg, but not as much as there used to be. He lost about 25 pounds since the last time we saw him. And he's a guy who in the minor leagues has always exhibited a lot of power. And heading into the American League next year, they're hoping that he's found his stroke again with 4 homers in recent days.
That brings up J.D. Martinez with 11 homers, 53 knocked in. One of those homers came against the Braves in Houston.
Somebody forgot to tell Tim this was the third inning.
Not too many perfect firsts for the Brave staff for the last month or so.
You were talking about those good players, though, Chip. They weren't winning with them. So they were trying to make some moves to build for the future and kind of start from the ground up by moving them. And they're still building.
Well, they have new ownership, Jim Crane. They will have a new regional sports network that goes on the air next year and all the dollars that come along with that. And as Tom mentioned, a new league and a new division. And what should be a terrific rivalry with the Texas Rangers. At least that's the hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would hope so. It certainly would lend itself to that, but you got to start playing good baseball for there to be a rivalry.
That got a piece of Brian McCann on the way by. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Inside of the leg.
In the air down the right field line. Jason Hayward on the run near the stands. He will not have a play. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Wind might have helped push that one into the seats a little bit.
Tim's getting to 2 strikes, but not having an easy time putting these guys away.
These guys are battling them. A lot of 2-strike foul balls already, which will get your pitch count up there in a hurry. 7 of them to be exact.
This will be Tim's 25th pitch of the opening inning. And it strikes out J.D. Martinez, and the Astros strand a pair in the opening frame. Armando Galarraga takes the ball for Houston. Braves bats look to break through in the bottom of the first. in the top of the first. Here's the Braves lineup. Atlanta with a 6-1 homestand so far. Former Astro Michael Bourne leads it off. Martin Prado's back in the starting lineup tonight. Chipper Jones debuted this season against Houston and hit a home run down at Minute Maid Park. Freddie Freeman's the hottest hitter on the club, with Dan Uggla, Paul Janisch, and Tim Hudson batting 7th, 8th, and 9th.
They'll be facing Astros right-hander Armando Galarraga. Seeing his last start against Pittsburgh, his first start of the year with the Astros, went 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Been a little bit of a mystery in his career. His career started out pretty good and it's kind of gone downhill since then. Signed by the Astros after being released by the Orioles after spring training and trying to make his way back.
This man was a 13-game winner with the Tigers back in 2008. He's won 13 games in the big league since. One ball, 1 strike to Michael Bourne. The former Astro was 1 for 13 in the first 3 games between these two clubs.
Galarraga only walked 1 in his first start with Houston in that game against the Pirates. He got a no decision. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. Pretty good outing.
That's pulled foul, full count. And a good start. Michael Bourne walks.
4 keys to pitching success for Galarraga tonight. He's got to have some help. Again, he pitched 5 strong innings against the Pirates, but not enough run support. And mostly hard stuff. He throws pretty hard, good fastball, good slider. Not a whole lot of off-speed stuff from this guy. Let's see if he's able to get away with that.
He's predominantly fastball slider to the righties and fastball split to the lefties. So, like I say, not a lot of separation in terms of velocity.
Carlos Corporon behind the plate, just thrown out only 2 of 10 base stealers so far this year.
Bourne's running, got a good jump. The throw to second is going to be late. Michael got in safely. His 29th steal.
And his spikes may have taken a bite out of Altuve too as he went in. The back foot. Good call again at second base by Hoy.
That was a good throw by Corporon. I didn't think that was going to be anywhere near as close as it was.
Martin punts one, foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Martin got a night off last night. The acquisition of Reed Johnson, Freddie Gonzalez has been able to rest Michael and Martin in successive games.
And as you can see, it was a good night to give him a rest and kind of a restart.
That's cued to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inside out swing. Foul ball. Still 1-2.
Fouled off the bunt trying to get him over. Fouled off a couple of pitches trying to hit the ball to the right side. And that last one was inside, which is sometimes a little easier for a right-hander to handle to try to go the other way. Doing Martin a favor behind in the count by pitching him inside here. And it kind of goes contrary to what you might think, that you'd say, well, wouldn't it be easier for Martin to hit one to the right side if he pitches him away? And that's not necessarily so. It sounds more logical, but sometimes if you're thinking inside out and they pitch you away, then a lot of times that top hand will take over and you might roll over the top of that pitch and hit a comebacker.
Two and two now with Bourne at second. Nobody out. Bottom of the first. And now a 3-2 pitch. Back-to-back walks open the game for Atlanta's offense. Jason's had a big homestand. He's 10 for 30 with a homer.
Sets up nicely for the Braves here in the first inning to jump out on top. We talked about this last night, Chip, about as many numbers as we're going to be showing you over the next 3 days about the Astros and their struggles this year. They're a major league team. They didn't come in here to lose. They've got a lot of pride. They've got some decent players that can do some damage. And you can run into a hot pitcher on any given night. So you cannot take them for granted, and an early run or two would go a long way to helping Tim Hudson.
Jason's been foul line to foul line on this homestand. His average up to 275. He's knocked in 53 men and has enjoyed hitting against Houston. That's called a strike. 1-1 your count.
I think for Galarraga right here, this is where he's got to try and pitch to this situation and not so much to what the season has been for Houston, because the easy thing for him to do right here is think, well, first inning, game's on the line. I can't give up any runs here because my team's not scoring many runs. You can't necessarily think that way this early in the game. You still got to play for outs. If you give up a run, so be it, but try not to nibble and not only keep those guys from scoring, but even keep them from moving up a base.
Up and away. 2 balls and a strike. That's hammered a mile, but foul down the right field line.
Everything's going good for Jason right now. He's locked in at the plate. He's seeing the ball well. He's using all the field, like you said, Chip. And when you're going good, you can wait longer, see the ball a little bit longer, and that's what he's doing. He's had a few strikeouts. He's chased a few balls up in the zone, but otherwise he's on it.
And now starts to do what he's also done during this real hot run. Fouling pitches off, making the opposing pitcher work, driving the pitch count up.
Fouled that one off his foot.
That's what the good hitters will do. Keep fouling off the pitcher's pitch and make him keep having to make that pitcher's pitch, and sooner or later he's going to make a mistake.
Not that time. Jason is down on strikes. And that's the first out of the first inning.
That looked like his split, Tom.
Yeah, split or... Boy, if it was a split, he brought it back a lot. I mean, it could have maybe been a backdoor breaking ball, but that's not something that's been in the scouting report for him, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Chipper Jones is our SunTrust solid performance. He always enjoys hitting against Houston.
He's having a good year. He's feeling good, and lately it's been a little hard getting him out of the lineup to take the rest because he's swinging the bat so well.
One ball, one strike. You recall Chipper's first game of the season was the 5th game of the year for the Braves. Atlanta started the year 0-3 in New York, then lost the first game down in Houston. Chipper singled in his first at bat of the year and then hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning for the Braves. They won their first game by a final of 6-4 behind Tommy Hanson. So a chance for some first inning damage here. 2 on, 1 out, scoreless game.
Chipper got something down and away to drive to left center last night in the first inning. Boy, Schaefer in center is really deep.
That's about as deep as you'll see a center fielder play here.
Three balls and a strike. Rolled right side. Wallace will fire to second for 1. The throw to first is close and late. Prado's forced at second. Bourne's at third. Chipper's at first.
Good hustle by Chipper saved this from being an inning-ending double play. Keeps it alive.
Corporon out in front of the plate. He'll alert his defense as Freddie Freeman stands in. 5-game hitting streak for Freddie, 10 for 19 in that stretch. And if there's a spot, fellas, where he has thrived all year, this would be the spot.
Just going to say, for a guy who's done extremely well with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he seems to be finding himself in this situation more and more lately, which is fine by him and fine by the Braves.
Almost half of his RBIs have come with 2 outs. It's the 4th most in baseball, the 2nd highest total in the National League. And he's got an even count.
Even though he walked the first 2, so far Galarraga's kept the ball down, including the ground ball by Chipper. The Astros signed him May 21st after he'd been released by Baltimore in early April.
Just missed.
Might have been the same pitch, huh? But he threw to Hayward.
Yep, looked like it.
This one definitely looked like a backdoor breaking ball. Astros signed him. He went to the minor leagues, pitched 10 games in the minors before he was called up.
3-2 pitch. Bases are loaded. 3rd walk of the inning. And here's Brian McCann. You know what he's got a lot of, fellas?
Yeah, he likes hitting in this situation.
Nine of them already in his career. And he's hit 9 homers since July 5th.
Both pitchers having to really work through troubles in the first inning. 32 pitches now for Galarraga.
The 33rd has popped up. Marwin Gonzalez at shortstop makes the play, and that retires the side. Galarraga walks the bases loaded. The Braves can't break through in a scoreless first inning. by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. 58 pitches in the first inning, but neither the Astros nor the Braves could break through. Let's see if Tim Hudson can mow him down with ease in the second. The inning starts with Scott Moore. He's the Houston third baseman.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that each pitcher is going to have to find a way to be a little bit more economical, or they're not going to be around very deep into the game. It's just a hunch.
High pop fly into left field for Martin Prado. He's got it. On things you can do on a day off. And boy, Tommy, learn ways to make your home more energy efficient with Georgia Power's online energy checkup. It's free and it takes less than 15 minutes to complete. To take the energy checkup, go to georgiapower.com/energy checkup.
And I like Cuddy's chances, by the way, of being able to do that. Galarraga, I don't know. I haven't seen him pitch, so.
Carlos Corporan is the batter. Jason Castro is the top catcher for this Houston club, but he's hurt. He's coming back from a knee problem and is rehabbing tonight at Double-A. So he's beginning to make his way back to the big league club. Jed Lowry's also hurt. He's got a bad ankle. And as Joe said earlier, Francisco Cordero was disabled right before game time tonight. Liner foul, 2 balls and a strike. Two and two.
Tim used up a lot of pitches in that first inning. His last time out against Philadelphia, he pitched into the 6th inning in his 6-2 win. Took 108 pitches though, which was a surprising number for him, and no walks.
Popped up left side. Chipper gives chase. Yanish gives chase. Martin at the line. Handles in fair ground. 2 outs. And former Brave Jordan Schaefer will be the batter. It's been a rough year for Jordan. He's 4 for his last 33 and batting .219 for the season. More troubling is that on base percentage, just .309.
A good reason to drop him out of the leadoff spot if he's not getting on, especially the way Altuve's been swinging the bat.
And now Tim has him set up. Schaefer's reached triple digits in strikeouts, and he's behind 0-2 here. Oh. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
In my opinion, Jordan's one of those guys, though, that still wants and thinks of himself and still wants to hit 25 homers a year, and he's not that kind of hitter just yet. Takes a big swing and a little reluctant to cut down on his swing to make more contact. No reason for him to be in triple digits in strikeouts early August. That's wasting a lot of his speed.
Up the middle, and Schaefer has a 2-out single. And that'll clear Galarraga, the Astros pitcher.
Tim's not sharp yet. We're at the end of the second inning. Had a long rest in between his first and second inning, and getting ahead of Schaefer and then having to make a good pitch to Jordan 3-2 is just not like Tim. Took him a long time to get through the first, similar fashion.
A roller by Galarraga, trickles foul at third. Good thing it did. Strike one. Good crowd here tonight for Star Wars night. And fireworks after the ball game. That's in the air to center. Michael Bourne on the run is going to track it down a step shy of the warning track. Galarraga put a charge into that ball, but is the third and final out of the top of the second inning.
And customer satisfaction nationwide year after year. Experience all the comfort and amenities you expect at an unexpectedly low price. Jameson Inn, Southern hospitality at its best.
We head to the bottom of the second inning. Dan Uggla, Paul Janisch, and Tim Hudson are coming up against Armando Galarraga, who walked the bases loaded in the first inning but escaped with no score. We hope you'll catch Chipper Jones playing in some of his final games with the Chipper Jones 4-game plan. It includes a ticket to 4 Friday games and a set of 4 Chipper Jones commemorative prints. It's presented by SunTrust. Packages start at $71, so visit Braves.com/Chipper or call 404-577-9100 today. It is Star Wars night.
Great outfits here tonight.
Kids had a pregame parade on the field tonight. And Dan Uggla will go to work first. Strike one. And on 3 pitches, Dan Uggla is called out on strikes.
All 3 breaking pitches too, weren't they?
Looked like it. Probably a case where you outsmart yourself a little. You think, all right, he's not going to throw me 3 in a row. There's no way.
Tim Hudson is our Delta Airlines on deck batter.
And dangerous.
Yes. Nothing but strikes from Galarraga in the second. To short, Marwin Gonzalez. And 2 outs. Liner foul. He is dangerous.
He's part of the reason the Braves have really owned the Astros in recent times. The last head-to-head meetings, 18 games, Braves have won 14 of them. And check out the home runs. They've out-homered Houston 25-7. And a full 2 runs better in the ERA too.
I'm going to miss seeing these guys. I know that baseball's moving them to the American League, and there are myriad reasons why that's happening. But Tommy, you know better than most of us how great a rivalry the Braves and Astros have with each other.
Yeah, particularly all those years we met each other in the playoffs. It seemed like every year and every series was just tooth and nail. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a disappointment to see him go. That was a pretty good golf trip down there too.
Yeah, it was. I like Houston. I like the ballpark. I like going there.
In the air to center, Jordan Schaefer will track that down. And this game's tied after 2 innings. 0-0 in game 1 of the weekend set between the Braves and the Astros. For the start of our weekend between the Braves and Astros, Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, and Chip Carey back with you. And while we have a moment, let's take a peek at tonight's AT&T U-verse trivia question. What pitcher holds the Astros franchise record for most wins in a single season?
There are some choices.
Tempted to say Ross Grimsley, but I know that's the wrong team.
Mike Scott.
First one that came to mind for me.
Bob Nepper.
Jose Altuve will lead things off.
Larry Dierker is also a good thought.
And a ground ball to second. One pitch and one man out.
Tim's back.
It's the third inning. And here's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot numbers. Lowest team ERA since mid-July.
A couple of teams there above Atlanta that kind of surprised me. Tampa Bay and Seattle in particular, but Seattle's been on quite a roll. And the Diamondbacks doing a good job too.
Yeah, they're much like last year, kind of quietly sneaking up on everybody again.
Arizona's 2 out in the National League West, and they're beating the Phillies tonight. Downstairs to Marwin Gonzalez, 1 ball, no strikes.
Phillies made another deal today. Joe Blanton, who pitched so well here twice this year, is going to the Dodgers.
So we might see him again. The Dodgers have a visit left to Turner Field. And not only did the Phillies trade Joe Blanton, they traded what's left of his salary to the Dodgers too. LA's picking the rest of that $2.9 million note left for this year.
And rumor has it, I think, right, that somebody claimed Cliff Lee on waivers. So it would be interesting to see if that goes anywhere.
Guess who claimed him? The Dodgers.
Oh.
Freddie Freeman at first, and Gonzalez is the second out.
Tim's back. You saw that other deal too where the Nationals claimed Kurt Suzuki from Oakland. He is a nice pickup for them, but given all their catching problems they've had and injury problems they've had with their catchers all year long. And he's a veteran guy who's handled a good staff over there in Oakland.
And due big money for the next couple of years as well.
Is he?
Nice insurance in case Wilson Ramos has trouble coming back from not 1 but 2 knee surgeries in Washington.
They probably could stand to pick up another arm, I would think, too, somewhere along the line.
1-0 to Francisco. The Nationals won game 1 of their doubleheader over Miami today, and they're winning game 2 early, 1-0. Marlins had brutal travel yesterday. Not 1 but 2 rain delays here in Atlanta. Then the flight to D.C. Hour-long bus ride to the team hotel. And I'm sure got to bed very early in the morning for a 4 o'clock start to the day's proceedings at Nationals Park. So at the moment, the Braves are 3 back. And Francisco, a fly ball into shallow center. And Tim had a much needed easy 1-2-3 third inning. He did that on 8 pitches. And the top of the Atlanta order tries to break through in a scoreless game. For the third inning. Again, as we told you, it's Star Wars night. With that in mind, here are our McDonald's fans of the game. Even Homer got it packed.
Great costumes tonight. Obi-Wan's here.
Michael Bourne with a fly ball to center. Jordan Schaefer over a few steps. And that's out number one. Martin, one of three men to walk in the Braves' first.
Yeah, Galarraga had a much more economical second inning. Looked like he was a little bit more aggressive with the bottom portion of the lineup. So we'll see if he takes that aggressiveness back into this inning. Got Michael Bourne on the first pitch. Kind of looked like he was tiptoeing his way through the first inning a little bit, either trying to figure out what he had or giving the Braves hitters too much credit. I don't know.
If you're wondering around Braves country, is this the same Galarraga that pitched the near perfect game for the Tigers? The answer is yes. That was back in 2010. And irony of ironies, also umpiring that game was Jim Joyce, who made that ill-fated call at first. On a ball hit by Jason Donald. So what should have been a perfect game wasn't. As we showed you the last time Jim Joyce was here, one of the most emotional scenes in baseball was the very next day when Jim was working behind the plate. Galarraga brought out the lineup card, and a great deal of affection shown by both men as a drive down the left field line off the bat of Prado will fall in. That ball's off the fence, and Martin has a one-out double.
We showed you those numbers tonight with Martin since since July 1, hitting only .235. But again, not to make excuses for him, but I think he's hit into some tough luck that has brought that average down a little bit. He hasn't looked that bad at the plate. He just hasn't had a lot of good results.
Well, the other part of that too, which I'm sure we could find the numbers out somehow, some way, but if I recall, somewhere in this homestand we showed a graphic about how many productive outs he's had where he's moved a runner up or he scored a runner without the benefit of a hit. That's the kind of player he is. He's a very unselfish player, always trying to do the right thing and moving guys over. And that, you know, it struck me looking at those numbers because it doesn't seem like he's struggled that much.
Right.
He's still being productive and getting things done, but certainly not hitting for average like he was the first part of the year.
I've got him with 34 of those productive outs unofficially. As Hayward hits with one out. And unlike a sacrifice fly or a sacrifice hit, you hit a ground ball to second, move a guy to third. That goes against your batting average.
It's tell you what, it's a very unselfish thing, and when you have guys on your team that are willing to do it, trust me, all 25 guys and the coaches in that dugout all appreciate it.
High and away to Jason. 2 balls, no strikes. Galarraga's got the 4 corners working. Now he's ready. 2 balls, no strikes. No, he's not.
Well, they either can't get together on pitch selection or pitch location. Only got 3: sinker, slider, and split. So
maybe they didn't work together in Galarraga's first start with the Astros, and scuffling on their rotation of signs with a runner at second. And now he's trying to work so fast that he's quick pitching.
Way outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
Hot hitter, green light, I'm guessing.
He took strike 1.
His fastball's been right around 88, some 89s. That pitch was 87. It didn't look like a batting practice type fastball to get over. It looked like it had a little movement to it.
Like it had a little break on it, some kind of slider or something.
And now Jason, a full count.
Got him to be over anxious there.
Would he throw him that split again here?
Well, he's been away. He hasn't really done anything on the inside part of the plate this at bat. Jason pulled 1 ball foul his first at bat, so see if he takes a shot at something in above his hands. Tried to go sinker away and threw it right down the middle.
Yeah, he did. He might have been lulled to in a sense of overconfidence against Chipper too, who almost hit into a double play in the first inning, and with first base open, maybe he'd be willing to throw something off speed to Hayward and not worry about walking him.
Another walk. First and second with 1 out. Chipper's hit safely in 26 of his last 30 games with 21 RBIs in that stretch.
You don't want to let Chipper hit in this situation too many times in a game, and it's the second time for him already.
Line drive toward right. That's going to get down and roll to the fence. Prado scores. Hayward around third. Relay throw won't be made. It's 2-0.
Right you are again, Tom Glavine. And again, right down the middle. And what a luxury it is when you hit a double like this to have a guy like Jason Hayward running from first. This is twice in 2 nights he has scored from first on a double without even having a play at the plate.
So Chipper now 10 hits away from 2,700 in his big league career. He's given Tim Hudson an early 2-0 lead for Freddie Freeman. 1 ball, no strikes.
As good as Chipper's swinging the bat right now, I just think that's a mistake to lull yourself into thinking, hey, I've got a base open. I can pitch around Jason, set up the double play. You know, there might be times where Chipper maybe isn't swinging the bat well, and you can try and take advantage of that. But this is not one of those times. You can't, like I said, you can't let him have that situation too often in a game, because he's going to make you pay for it.
And as much as we've raved about what Prado and Michael Bourne have done in the number 2 and number 1 spots in this Braves lineup, let's think about what Hayward, Chipper, Freeman, and McCann are doing now. I mean, that's as salty a foursome as there's going in the National League right now, you'd think.
You've got to pick somebody to pitch to, and again, look at the back of the bubblegum card. I'm not pitching to Chipper if I don't have to.
Hot shot. Oh, nice play. Altuve at second, and that's the second out.
Some good hands here. That ball was by him. What a nice play by the All-Star.
So Chipper's at third with 2 outs now, and Brian McCann hits. Brian popped out in the first.
Back to your comment about the batting order, Chip. For a lot of the season, there have been guys that have been interchangeable 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 in the order. They've been moving around quite a bit. But I think everybody's kind of settled in right now to a spot on an everyday basis, unless Chipper takes a night off, where everybody comes up with similar situations every game. And that's a real advantage to a hitter, knowing every night coming up into situations to drive in runs, as is the case of the guys you were talking about in the middle of the order, and getting used to it, having the confidence to get them in. In some ways, it's a lot like Martin, knowing he's batting behind Bourne every night. He's going to have situations every night where Michael's on base in front of him, and he's going to have certain things he's got to do.
Houston will intentionally walk Brian McCann and face Dan Uggla. That's the 5th walk of the night for Galarraga.
Yeah, and as much as the other side of that too, Joe, as much as they are settling in, and you're right, I would think that Michael and Martin in that situation, they've probably got a good rapport with one another now. Michael has a good idea how many pitches Martin's going to give him to steal a base. Martin knows, hey, Michael generally tries to steal a base within the first pitch or two, whatever the case may be. And as much as they get used to all that, the other part of that is when Freddie does give guys a night off and they do shift around in the lineup, they don't seem to be uncomfortable when they move up or down a slot either, which from a managerial standpoint, that's a beautiful thing when you can just put guys in a bunch of different spots and they're comfortable hitting there.
And I really think it probably goes to Jason Hayward moving into the 3 spot. When that happened, it all started kind of fitting together nicely.
And Joe, to your point about all the interchangeable parts, Braves have used 5 different number 3 hitters, 4 different cleanup men, 7 men have hit 5th, 9 different guys have hit 6th, and 11 different number 7 hitters. But very much a set lineup since the All-Star break, a stretch during which the Braves have won 14 of their last 20 games. Galarraga approaching 70 pitches already. 34 balls, 34 strikes. High pop. Deep short. Gonzalez fights it, can't find it. And Chipper scores. Uggla's in at second. Three nothing.
It's that time of night, and he lost it. Couldn't find it until it was too late. It's actually a little darker right now than when we usually see that play occur. The Bermuda Triangle.
So Paul Janisch, the 8th man to hit in the inning. That scored a hit.
So I guess it's a double and an RBI.
What's he hit in August, Joe?
He's red hot. 3 for 9, I believe. But when you lose one, you lose one.
That's right there for a called strike. Popped up again. This time it's the third baseman Moore who makes the play, and that retires the side. Braves get a gift run on a dropped pop-up. They score 3 in total in the whole half of the third. A big blow. Chipper. Baseball on Peachtree TV is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Tim Hudson now leads by a 3-0 score, trying to run his lifetime mark to a perfect 5-0 against the Astros. And he's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up for the second time tonight.
I thought you were going to say he's got the force with him.
I did
that's
too.
Where you were going.
That would be a Wookiee mistake, Tom. Wallace was hit by a pitch his first time up. "16 hits with the big league club, 4 of them homers, including 2 on Wednesday against Milwaukee. And the question is, where will this guy end up as a position player? My guess is Fellas first base.
And he could DH next year.
They said the minor league team had so many injuries he was forced to play shortstop a little bit down there. I don't see that being in his future in the big leagues.
I'd like to have seen that.
That's fouled off his foot.
He's been traded around to several different teams, always considered a top-notch minor league prospect as a hitter, power hitter, but it hasn't translated to the big leagues. But this is the best shape I've seen him in
Maybe that'll help. And old pal Leon Roberts is now the hitting coach for Oklahoma City, which is the AAA affiliate of Houston now, and maybe did some things to help Wallace get going again.
Tim walks him. He's also hit him with a pitch, so Wallace aboard for the second time. Well, if you're playing in Oklahoma City these days, you'd probably just walk outside and lose weight, couldn't you, Joe?
Yes, you could. 112 there again today.
First walk for Tim, third, make that fourth Houston base runner. And here's J.D. Martinez, Astros left fielder.
They're excited, though. They say it'll be down in the low hundreds by Monday.
Cold front.
And a base hit the other way for Martinez. 2 on, nobody out in the fourth. This is Scott Moore. He had a good year going down at AAA. He had 10 homers, knocked in 54, hit .318.
And 10 years ago, he was the 8th overall pick in the draft by Detroit. He was the #1 rated high school prospect out of Southern California, out of Cypress High School. Detroit traded him to the Cubs, got some big league time in with Chicago. They traded him to Baltimore, and then he became a minor league free agent last winter.
That's up and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Well, that's an area where I'm sure the Astros are really hoping to improve, is in their drafting and developmental system. In 2007, they did not have a pick in the first or second round, and their 3 top draft choices did not sign that season. Fly ball toward left, chases Martin Prado back a couple of steps. He'll make the catch. Wallace thinks about tagging, but holds at second. And those 3 top choices who didn't sign with Houston later went on to become #2 draft picks for other clubs. So for 1 year in 2007, really nobody that they drafted has a chance to make the big leagues. Here we are 5 years later, and the pipeline for Houston really a trickle as far as the minor league talent's concerned. Carlos Corporan's the catcher. Let's see if Tim can get a ground ball and get out of this fourth. And he gets fly ball to center. Michael Bourne is there. 2 outs.
I don't know what kind of financial wherewithal the Astros will have in the coming seasons to go out and sign free agents to immediately improve their ball club, but the basis for any long-term success has got to be their farm system.
Let me ask you from a veteran player standpoint. I would imagine they could throw a lot of money at them with the new TV deal, but is Houston going to win anytime soon?
Well, you're going to have a hard time getting guys to come there until they show that they've got the nucleus of players that, hey, either you're really close or you're not too far away. I mean, you're not going to get a premier free agent to go play there if they're 5 years away from even becoming close to being a competitive team. So they're going to have to show some signs of that.
Schaefer robbed by Giannis, flipped to second, and a stutter step tag in the bag by Ugla.
Another nice play by the shortstop.
by Hyundai, by the Home Depot, by Blimpie, and by Georgia Power. Tim Hudson's pitching well tonight. He scattered 3 hits. He just got a great defensive play by Paul Yanish up the middle. And that keeps Houston off the scoreboard, and Tim will start things himself in the home half of this 4th inning. 2 more left on the homestand this weekend. And we're all excited to see Paul Maholm make his Braves debut here tomorrow, and Chris Medlin another start on Sunday.
Anxious to see Maholm in a Braves uniform work his magic here at Turner Field.
And that clipped Tim. How about that? Galarraga hits Tim Hudson to start the 4th inning.
Just a brush, but Tim immediately let Mike DeMuro know that he wasn't hearing things.
One ball, no strikes. That's Michael Bourne, who walked and flied out. He's got a 3-game hit streak working. Altuve at second, and that's all the Astros will get. They forced Tim Hudson 1 out.
It's a good trade. Get Tim off the bases and let Michael run.
Martin doubled and scored in the 3-run 3rd.
See, we just saw something there that has changed over the years in terms of being a first base coach. You now have to keep track of who has base running gloves versus hitting gloves and make sure you don't mix them up. That's complicated.
These guys need a storage locker over there, as much stuff as they got to hold on to nowadays.
Terry doesn't have enough pockets.
Then you got to factor in all the shin guards and stuff, the elbow protectors.
And work his stopwatch. Did you keep track of your times to the plate? Were you made aware of those?
I mean, I knew kind of vaguely what they were, and I knew, I mean, once I switched to a slide step, I didn't worry about it too much, other than when a really fast guy was on. Even then, I didn't try to speed up any. I just tried to change my tempo or my looks a little bit, hold the ball every now and then, that kind of stuff.
Foul at third. Moore handles in the green grass down the line. 0-2 the count. There's a bullet down the left field line, fair and in the corner. Bourne flying around second. He'll blaze around third. And he will score standing up. Woo! Was he cooking?
Another multi-hit game for Martin, and this time shows you his quickness inside. I think somebody asked Freddie Gonzalez the other day who he thought was faster, Bourne or Hayward. especially once they got on base like first to home. Be a pretty good foot race.
.39 multi-hit games for Martin, and now Hayward hammers one foul.
And on the Home Depot tools from the dugout, here's another guy. Take a look at the guy at first base. That's Jason on Chipper's double. Good turnaround second. Hit third in stride. Scored without a throw.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Freddie, by the way, picked Bourne.
He did.
He did.
Couldn't go wrong with either one.
Nope.
Smitty, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now, when you got 2 guys like that can score from first on a double, it's a good luxury to have.
Jason's down swinging. That's the second time Galarraga has gotten him with a pitch like that tonight. 2 outs. Two more RBIs for Chipper tonight. He doubled in the third.
All doubles for the Bravos tonight. 4 hits, 4 doubles.
My kind of game. 4 doubles.
And a roller toward first. Chipper flips the bat in frustration as he and the Braves are retired in the inning. But another run comes across. Michael Bourne scores his 72nd run of the season. And the Braves and Tim Hudson have a 4-run lead going to the 5th. Four 4-0 lead over the Astros. Former Astro Michael Bourne has scored one of those runs tonight. And you give Tim Hudson 4 runs with which to play, it's almost in the bank with a W.
I'm not saying that Tim wouldn't have scored on that double, but I'll stick to my guns on the. I think it was a good trade on the ground out.
Galarraga back into the box for Houston, and he backs away from ball one. Games where Tim has pitched and his team scores 4 or more runs, he's 164 and 28 lifetime. One strike.
I always go to your quote you use on Jack Morris that I love so much.
Boys, I've never lost with 10. Is it true, Tommy, in the World Series you holler, just give me one?
Yeah, but you know, probably wasn't the only time in my career I ever did that, but just so happened to work out that night.
Little roller in front of the plate, and Ryan McCann would take care of the Houston pitcher. 1 man down. The Braves are excited to bring legendary Southern Rockers Leonard Skinner to Turner Field for a free post-game concert after the Saturday, September 1st game against the Phillies. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. Altuve is 1 for 2. He's got 38 multi-hit games this year.
Yeah, he's having a very good year for a team that's struggling in so many offensive categories.
Yeah, he's got 5 homers too. I'd like to find out how many of those are at home in those Crawford boxes. Those are mighty inviting.
Let's find out. Altuve, 3 homers at home. Two balls, 2 strikes. We talked about all the good players that the Astros have let go. We've talked about this as well. Could put together a pretty good team of guys from Maracay, Venezuela. Martin Prado. This guy, Miguel Cabrera, just to name a few. Altuve with a 7-game hitting streak. Pops one up into right. And Jason Hayward's got that one, 2 outs. Martin Prado was telling us a story a couple of weeks ago about Miguel Cabrera. Braves tried to sign him when he was 16 years old. And Martin played on the same team with Miguel Cabrera. The Braves reportedly offered him $2 million as a 16-year-old to sign. And he said, I'm not going to sign with the Braves because they have a guy named Chipper Jones playing third base. Think about how
Braves could have found room for him somewhere.
I'm thinking so, yeah.
Right? One ball, no strikes to Marwin Gonzalez, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Even count. He's missed a lot of time this season with some injury. He missed a month, in fact, with a heel problem. That's why the homer and RBI totals are so low for the shortstop. This one up the middle. Giannis had him played perfectly, and that will retire the side. 12 pitches for
Bourne and Hayward from first to home. Michael a little quicker to getting to third, but a little slow down at the plate. Jason slides, got there about the same time. I wouldn't want to have to live on the difference.
Yeah, it was pretty close. We'll have to try that again.
Yeah, I have a little trouble with my stopwatch. Truck is telling me that they had it at 10 seconds for each one. My stopwatch was a little off.
One ball, no strikes. And Freddie Freeman, a towering fly ball to right. Ben Francisco drifts back. And he puts it away for out number one. Both Joe and Tom had their stopwatches out and forgot to hit the stop.
No, I didn't. I saw him.
Come on.
I saw he missed on the start, I think.
Yeah,
and then when
did.
I looked and I went back to mine to try and catch up with him, and then I was done.
Yeah, I started too soon on Michael. Messed it up. But it was a dead heat crossing the plate. I know that.
I'm just going to go out on a limb again. They're both fast.
Yeah.
Here's Brian McCann. He's popped out and has been intentionally walked. And a roller foul at first. Braves up big here over Houston. Washington leads Miami 1-0. That's Josh Johnson, by the way, pitching for the Marlins tonight. That's the second game of that doubleheader.
Marlins have got to be dragging.
Yeah.
After the wee hours of the morning arrival and a doubleheader today.
And that's pulled foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I did find it interesting that Dan Jennings, who was left in there to pitch the 7th and 8th last night, just worn out. He was optioned today since he was not going to be available for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's always a tough one to swallow. Go out there, take one for the team, and we appreciate it. We're going to send you down.
Have a hurricane and some beignets on us.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And popped up toward first. Wallace will come charging in. He's got it for the second out. Here is tonight's Jamison in. Upcoming schedule, 2 more with Houston.
Lucas Harrell, a winning record for these guys against Paul Maholm, who makes his debut tomorrow night. Hope you'll make your plans to be with us on Peachtree TV and outside the metro area on Fox Sports South. And then Chris Medlin makes his second start against Bud Norris Sunday afternoon on Fox Sports South.
It's pretty impressive to have a winning record on a team that's 35 plus games under 500.
Steve Carlton did that, I believe, in the early 70s with the Phillies.
Yeah, that one year he had some crazy percentage of the team's wins. What, he won 26 or 27 games that year.
No balls, 2 strikes. And that skips up there for 1 ball and 2 strikes now for Dan. Dan hit a pop-up last time up that Gonzalez lost in the twilight. Hit his glove, fell to the ground, and it scored Chipper Jones. It was ruled an RBI double.
This is what he did last time up. Pitched Dan in, and you had the opportunity to look then like that was a setup for something away, and he got a slider, but he popped it up and swung and missed at that one.
Second time Dan has struck out tonight. 4 Braves have been punched out total by Galarraga. And we move to the 6th inning. And again, fellas, straight A's. We've seen that a lot on this homestand.
It's always a smooth highlight package when we do the Crown Royal. Tim Hudson pitched out of some trouble in the 1st inning, and then he got some offensive help beginning in the 3rd. Braves put 3 on the board, added another in the 4th.
So Tim Hudson rolling merrily along, has allowed just 3 hits. And he'll start with Ben Francisco. And Joe, as you've said a couple of times for Tim, get him through the first 2 innings and he gets himself on a roll.
Get him early or don't get him.
And it's into the seats. It's 0-2.
Braves have seen Ben Francisco when he was with the Phillies for a couple of years. They know he's got some pop in his bat.
That's off Tim's wrist. Uggla charges, bare hand, off balance throw, and it's wide of the bag. And the ball will bounce into the Braves dugout, and Francisco will take second.
That was going to be right at Dan Uggla had it not hit Tim's glove.
Yeah, that's a play that Huddy makes most of the time, too.
That scored an infield hit and an E4. And now Wallace hits. He's been hit by a pitch and walked. Ball 1.
He's having trouble getting ahead of Wallace. Can't throw him strikes.
Wallace, originally a first-round draft pick of the Cardinals in 2008, went to Oakland in the Matt Holliday deal. Then Wallace was traded to Toronto for Michael Taylor, and Houston got him for Anthony Gose July 29th, 2 years ago. That's a lot of stops.
Well, he got traded twice in one day, didn't he? On the same day that he went to Toronto, didn't they just turn around and flip him to Houston?
No, he was traded by Oakland to Toronto in December of 09, and then Toronto to Houston in July of 2010.
Oh, okay.
Rolled to the right side, runner to third. There's a productive out for Wallace. J.D. Martinez hits with Francisco at third base and 1 out. J.D. Martinez, born in Miami, lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He was a 20th round pick in 2009. And a chopper toward third. Chipper will surrender the run. He'll take the out. And the Astros are on the board. It's a 4-1 game. 54th RBI for Martinez.
That bouncer off Tim's glove cost a run. It was an unearned run, but the redirection hurt.
So no shutout. Let's get the win. Here's Moore. He's flied to left twice. Strike one. Good news in Washington. The Marlins have jumped in front of the Nationals. It's 3-1 now, and they have 2 men on, 2 outs. Braves will be happy to see that series split today. One ball, 1 strike.
I know Jose Reyes extended his hitting streak in the first game to 21 games. Don't know about game 2.
That's tipped and caught by Brian McCann, and Tim Hudson strikes out Scott Moore and stops the bleeding in the 6th inning. 4-1 game now here at Turner Field. Game 4-1 as we head to the bottom of our 6th inning, and it's time for tonight's Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard.
See their career games played on their active roster. The Astros, 4,589 games, the fewest amount of games in Major League Baseball, and the leads right into their average age on that team. They're second in all of baseball in terms of being the youngest in terms of years and by days, I think, behind Kansas City at 27 and some change. So as we've been talking about, a lot of inexperience on that roster.
Only the Royals younger, as a hot shot is flagged down at short by Marwin Gonzalez, but he can't hang on, and Paul Janisch has an infield hit. Two schools of thought on that, Tommy. One, I guess, are you wrecking the confidence of these young players with all the losses that Houston is going through, or like you with the Braves, is it a valuable learning experience at this level?
Well, it's both, potentially. I mean, you know, you certainly are risking losing some guys confidence-wise, but that's where it's so important for a club to know the makeup of their guys as to whether or not they think they can handle it. And if they can.
Tim bunts, and it's caught by Galarraga. Giannis back to first with one out.
Guys, I played on some bad teams in Seattle in 79, 80. But then in the strike year of 81, we started adding a few players and some veteran players. And I think the experience of kind of being force-fed and getting your brains beat out for a couple of years really did help in the long run, because in 81 and 82, the Mariners were very competitive, and were it not for a couple of injuries in 82, might have contended for the AL West spot.
Here's Michael Bourne. I mean, in the case of the Astros, they have to play these kids because they've traded so many of their veteran players away the last couple of years.
That's true, but if they fully expect to be better next year, they can't just rely on these guys to get better to do it. They're going to have to put some decent players around them, either on the pitching staff that they can count on a 2 out of 5 nights to give them a chance to win, 3 out of 5 nights.
Well, that's where, yeah, they've got to identify what they need, much like here in Atlanta in 1990. We had a lot of the guys were here in the rotation. We had some good young players in the positions out there. And John Sherholtz and crew made up their mind that we were going to get guys that could really catch the ball. And that's when they went and got Pendleton and Bream and Rafael Belliard. And not only did you have 3 guys like that on your infield that could really catch the ball, but boy, did that do a world of good for the confidence of the pitchers in that rotation, because we all felt like, hey, we don't have to pitch to avoid contact anymore. These guys are going to make plays behind us. And so that's what the Astros have to figure out. Who is their nucleus? What are they going to try and build around? And then what pieces of the puzzle are they going to try and add?
Well, speaking about the middle, you've got to think Altuve's got to be one of those pieces, don't you?
Sure.
As Bourne ahead in the count. I think it's safe to say the jury's still very much out on Jordan Schaefer in center field. Marwin Gonzalez has looked impressive when the Braves have played Houston.
Well, remember, they made a deal and got Jed Lowry from the Red Sox too, and he's been hurt all year long. He's only played in 80 games this year, and I'm sure they're hoping for a solid season from him next year, because he was hitting 250 for the year, 253. He's a switch hitter, but can't stay off the DL.
Michael fouls that back. Then the other key component's got to be drafting and development. They've made a bunch of trades going for quantity, if not necessarily quality. But keep an eye on this name too, Delino DeShields Jr. He's playing in the South Atlantic League with Lexington. 77 stolen bases and a .294 average. He was a former #1 pick. And he scored 91 runs in 100-something games. So for a system that, guys, has not borne an awful lot of really quality major league players, Shields might be one of them.
Well, they've definitely tried to step up their minor league system. And as you talked about with their years where they not only didn't draft guys, but they didn't sign guys, that's kind of the approach it seems that they're taking now with all the trades they're making. Is it's more quantity of players than it is necessarily quality of players.
That's way outside. Michael Bourne walks. Galarraga has walked the ballpark tonight. That's 6 bases on balls tonight.
And just to finish that thought, as much as they're trying to stockpile, it seems to be having some effect, because their top 4 minor league teams all of last year had 202 wins combined. This year they're already at 245. So you would think that would lead you to believe that they've done a nice job in the short term of at least making their minor league system better. Now, whether or not they're able to pull guys out of there and actually help them at the big league level will remain to be seen, but you would think that's a good sign for the organization going forward.
I would think so. That's a real good improvement with still a month to go in their season at least.
The other thing too, remember 10-15 years ago how active Houston was in Venezuela, the Venezuelan Baseball Academy. Guys like Bobby Abreu were originally Astros farmhands. That was a place that was a rich ground for young talent. See if Houston goes back and mines that area for young baseball players in the future.
After 6 walks, Galarraga has an issue with Mike DeMuro on that call.
One ball, no strikes. First and second, 1 out, 4-1 Braves lead. Atlanta has 5 hits. Now 2-0. Another long look in at the plate umpire. 3 balls, no strikes. That one found the mark.
Galarraga is getting a little short-tempered with his catcher. Or is he mad at Martin for not getting in the box?
And now Michael Bourne's coming in. Terry Pendleton's headed toward the batter's box. Make sure nothing comes between Corporan and Martin Prado. Jason Hayward standing guard too.
Well, I'm not sure if Galarraga's short temper is being misplaced here from the umpire and his frustration with the walks.
Doug Brocail's the pitching coach. And Jim Joyce, also in on that meeting at third base, pointed to Brocail and nodded to the home plate umpire as if to say Brocail's taking care of the situation. 3 balls and a strike. Another walk. That's 7. And Brad Mills has seen enough from Galarraga. He'll meet Mike DeMuro at the third base line, and he will announce a pitching change for the Astros in this 6th inning. walked 7 men. He's left the bases loaded and very frustrated with this sequence with Martin Prado.
What it looked like here, Tommy, was maybe the way Martin was waving his bat back and forth. He couldn't see the signs. Watch this. They're going through the signs, but Martin's kind of waving his bat low right here, and he couldn't see. Plus the glove's in the way a little bit. And then Martin steps out right here. Still can't see him. Now Martin steps out, and then he waves Martin back in. Like, let's go. Let's go. And Martin's like, well, you're the one that's having a hard time getting the signs. And it looks like Corporon saying, hey, it's my fault he can't see the signs. And that's what it appears to be.
Yeah, it seems to be. And I mean, it's like I said, I think it's more than anything else. He's frustrated with the way his night was going. Partly, I'm sure, him, partly the umpire, and was looking for anybody else he could blame for the way things were going.
So Jason Hayward, bases loaded. Lefty Wesley Wright is the new Houston pitcher. Five hits, 4 runs so far for Galarraga. Wright has been a busy man.
He's pretty tough on lefties too. He's got a good breaking ball and a good fastball. He's small in stature, but not small on ability.
Last year, Joe, you're right. Left-handed hitters were 1 for 26 against him. This year, they're 16 for 76. So lifetime, only 17 hits and 102 at bats by a left-handed batter against lefty Wesley Wright. Say that 3 times fast. Swing and a miss. Houston also made a defensive switch. Matt Downs has taken over at third base. He'll bat in the pitcher's spot when Houston hits in the 7th. Jason chased that ball and is struck out for the 3rd time tonight. Base is still loaded. 2 outs now, and here's Chipper.
Good breaking ball.
Yeah, it was a good breaking ball, particularly after the one before that. The one before was a little bit bigger break in terms, or a little bit different break in terms of it was more of a curveball break. That one was more of a kind of a sweeping slider type break, so a couple different looks with the same pitch.
Chipper's got a 2-run double tonight and takes a called strike. Lifetime, Chipper's 2 for 2 against Wesley Wright. Good stop. That saved a run. 1 ball, 1 strike. Paul Giannis started the inning with an infield hit. Tim Hudson popped out to the pitcher. Then Bourne and Prado walked back to back. Jason Hayward just struck out. So the Braves have him loaded with 2 down, leading 4-1 in the 6th inning. Slow roller towards short. Gonzalez flips to first in time, and that retires the side. Good job by Wesley Wright to put out a 6th inning fire. Galarraga's night ends allowing 4 runs, and we head to the 7th. And it's time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question again, as a light rain begins to fall at Turner Field. What pitcher holds the Astros franchise record for most wins in a single season?
I'm going to go Larry Dierker.
I'm going Sooner. Mike Hampton.
Mike Hampton's a very good call. Let's see if Joe or Tom is right.
Whoa. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Corporon leads things off in the 7th inning. 7, 8, 9 coming up for Houston. And some of the fans in the lower bowl start to make their way up toward the concourse. The light misting rain.
My guy was tied for 4th. Larry Dierker won 20 games in 1969. Joe Niekro, Roy Oswalt twice, J.R. Richard, Mike Scott all won 20.
Was Lima time on there? I had him written down.
Jose
too.
Lima 21. He was tied for 2nd with Joe Niekro.
All right.
High pop into left. Corporon skies to Prado, and there's the first out of the inning. Delta Airlines, the proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves, will be headed for our Delta charter on Sunday. After the Braves and Astros wrap up this series and the homestand, the Braves will go on the road and get back into Eastern Division play. We'll play the Phillies 3 times, then head to New York to play the Mets. Jordan Schaefer's hit the ball up the middle twice. He singled in the 2nd. Giannis robbed him in the 4th. With that in mind, Paul has moved a little bit more toward the second base bag. Ball 2. To center. Michael Bourne's going to track it down. 2 outs. Schaefer's hit the ball up the middle all 3 times, and he's hit it hard 3 times. And here's Downs. This is a guy that, Joe, you and I have talked about quite a bit. Pretty good player out of Centerville, Alabama.
Yeah, I like him. I like him as a guy off the bench. He's got good pop. I'm not sure that he's an everyday player. Not saying he's not, but he is always swinging the bat. Every time we see these guys and he comes off the bench, he seems to square one up somewhere. And he's been hot lately because he's been getting a chance to play more with Chris Johnson gone.
He was a pitcher and a position player with Alabama.
Because he's an athlete.
Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to tee that up.
There you go, Chip.
Sorry.
Come on, I had to get it in once.
Thought we went over this last night.
You know, awful. 36th round pick signed by our old pal Lee Elder was Matt Downs. He's 28 years young and faces a 1-2 pitch. That one is cut on and missed, and it gets through the legs of Brian McCann. And Downs will reach first.
Brian was kind of mad at himself there going after that ball. He made a reaction like he didn't do a very good job of trying to block that ball. Tried to backhand it, and he's still mad about it.
That has scored a strikeout and a wild pitch. So Downs at first with 2 outs, and Altuve the batter, 1 for 3 in the game. Little late.
After a 24 pitch first inning, I believe it was, Tim's really calmed that down. He's pitched into the 7th here. 25 pitches. Thanks, Chan.
He's been very economical after that first inning.
Yeah. Hopefully be able to finish the 7th inning off.
97 pitches for Tim so far.
And no more than 17 in any inning since then, and that was the 2nd inning.
Two and one. Up in the Braves pen. Who opens the door every time we show the bullpen?
Used to be Medlin. He's not down there anymore.
No. Runner at first goes. The ground ball hit to the right side. Dan's got it. And the throw to first is in time. My money's on O'Flaherty. That's my guess. Good job by Tim Hudson tonight. He's through 7 and has a 4-1 lead. by the Georgia Lottery, by AT&T Uverse, and by Ram Trucks. Friday Night Braves baseball is presented by Blimpie. Tonight it's game 1 of our weekend series between the Braves and the Astros. So far so good. Tim Hudson's through 7 innings, and he's been spotted a 4-1 lead. Good crowd hoping to see a Braves win, and fireworks after the game as Freddie Freeman leads things off. Strike 1 to the Braves first baseman. Freddie's got a 5-game hitting streak on the line tonight. He's 0 for 2 so far in the game.
This guy got a chance to live Smoltzy's dream twice. Did it again earlier, an appearance ago, where he pitched, faced a hitter, moved to right field, came back in, and faced another hitter.
No kidding.
Really?
He's done it twice.
Maybe because he's getting some funny swings like that from lefties.
Wesley was a very good pickup by Houston. He was a Rule 5 guy. Got him from the Dodgers, I believe it was. And now a huge part of their bullpen, as we showed you, 52 times he's pitched this season already.
Yeah, that's in this day and age, the way bullpens are constructed now, this is a huge guy to have in your bullpen that's virtually unhittable against left-handed hitters.
Just missed the corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That is such a good pitch there. Fastball 91, just a little bit off the plate, ahead in the count, hoping the guy will expand his strike zone a little bit.
No swing, and a full count. Wesley Wright's from Braves country. He was born and raised and lives in Montgomery, Alabama. And he loses Freddie Freeman. Second time Freddie's walked in the game. First base runner allowed by Wesley Wright tonight. And another lefty, Brian McCann's up.
And only the 11th walk he's issued this year in his 52nd appearance.
Ball 1 outside. Big series in Cincinnati starting this weekend. The Reds, who seemingly never lose, without Joey Votto, won again tonight. Beat the Pirates. In fact, the Reds shut them out 3-0. Cincinnati now a 4.5 game lead in the National League Central. One of the hottest teams in baseball since the break.
Is that Arroyo tonight?
Let's see.
Because he's been pitching pretty well.
Rodriguez and Latos were the scheduled starters. Wandy Rodriguez, the former Astro. Reds now 35-19 at home. And a ground ball towards second. Altuve, nice pickup, nice throw. The throw to first in time, a double play. Wow, 2 long throws. And Houston doubles up Brian McCann.
That was some nice glove work by Altuve on that one.
The second nice play he's made tonight for a team that's been defensively challenged an awful lot this year. They've made a couple good plays here.
Brad Mills shakes the hands of his middle infielders and pats Wesley Wright on the back. He was terrific in relief. And it's a bases empty, 2 out, 7th inning situation for the Astros bullpen when we return. Crown Royal, by Checkers, by Toyota, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Back at Turner Field, it's a 4-1 Braves game. Bases clear. And an unforgettable moment for the man taking the mound for the Astros. It's right-handed pitcher Mickey Story. The pride of Florida Atlantic University. He's making his major league debut tonight.
Looking at those numbers at Oklahoma City, he's earned a call up.
That's good numbers right there for AAA. Pitched well.
Originally in the Oakland organization, and now getting a chance with Houston.
Fastball, curveball, slider change, and according to the scouting report from the boys downstairs, he's had the strikeout working a little bit. 17 strikeouts in his last 10 games in AAA.
And he'll face Dan Uggla, who has doubled. He's knocked in a run, and he has struck out twice. His first pitch of the big leagues is a swinging strike.
Sure, he's got some family that made the trek up from Deerfield Beach, which is his hometown in Florida.
One ball, one strike. What a thrill for this kid. Two and two.
I'm sure he grew up watching some Braves baseball, so to be able to make your not only make your major league debut, but make it in a ballpark that you've probably watched a bunch of games in. That's a pretty cool experience.
We're out of sliders to Dan so far. Let's see what he throws 3 and 2.
Slow roller hit toward third. And that will retire the side. Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Story. 8th inning, 4-1 Atlanta. Continuing their good work tonight. You'll see it on our Blimpie game summary.
Tim Hudson's going to go work another inning if he can. He's worked 7 strong innings, only 1 unearned run so far. And the Braves had their doubles machine working tonight to put 4 runs on the board.
Gonzalez, Francisco, and Wallace coming up for Houston. Ball high on the 102nd pitch unofficially for Hudson. One and 2 your count. So yeah, our count is the official one. 105 for Hudson. The board here at the ballpark is 1 behind. Well, he's still got that slider buzzing in on the left-hander's hands, doesn't he?
See, back in the day when you didn't have those pitch counts up on the scoreboards everywhere, it wasn't uncommon for your pitching coach to forget to hit that clicker every now and then.
Save you a few.
Absolutely.
You're not thinking of anyone in particular, are you?
No. Ah, you only got 85 pitches. Really? Boy, it feels like I've thrown a lot more than that. No, right here on the clicker.
2 and 2. Out of play again. You like the emphasis on pitch counts in the game now, Tommy?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think obviously it's a good gauge, and I think there's, you know, plenty of data out there nowadays as to how guys do when they go past a certain amount and things like that. But I still don't think it's not a foolproof gauge. It's a good gauge, but it's not foolproof.
100 pitches seems to be the benchmark anymore for anybody, but like you said, some guys don't hit that question mark to maybe 115 or beyond. Right. It's not just 100 for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger issue is if you've got a guy that's typically, 100 to 110, and then you extend him beyond that for a start and go, 120 or 125, then you got to start paying attention.
In the air toward deep right center field, but Michael Bourne's going to catch that. And Gonzalez put up a fight, but is retired to start the 8th inning. Makes you feel good when you see an outfielder just go, I got it, right?
I got this. Relax. No biggie.
Nice round number for the crowd tonight, 28,300.
Looked like a larger crowd to me. I thought there were more folks here.
A lot of Ewoks came.
Yeah, maybe they didn't count them.
Right.
What do you call those guards, the ones that wore the white outfits?
Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers, thanks.
One ball, one strike. We had Darth Vader out in front of home plate before the game tonight, looking over the umpires. All part of the fun for the Braves' support of Stand Up to Cancer tonight on Star Wars night. A lot of kids dressed up. We had the pregame parade. A lot of the kids dressed up, had their lightsabers waving around on the field. A fun night and a strike. Full count.
Yeah, a couple lightsabers floating around the house. Should have brought one tonight.
Haven't lived to. Kids knocked over a lamp with a lightsaber, have you? 3-2 pitch. And Francisco draws a 1-out walk. And I think that's going to be it for Tim. It will be. Well, what a great effort for Hudson tonight. 7 1/3 innings of one-run baseball. He scattered just 4 hits. And he's allowed 1 run, and it was an unearned tally tonight. Big pat on the back for Hudson, trying to win his 5th consecutive start. And listen to the crowd at Turner Field. Good position to run his career mark against Houston to a perfect 5-0. He leads tonight's ball game by a 4-1 score. And time for the AT&T call to the bullpen. It's Eric O'Flaherty.
Eric's had a few days rest too. Talked about Kimbrel last night getting some work in because he hadn't been needed. O'Flaherty was just in 1 game in that Miami 4-game series and only 2 games in this homestand.
Strike one to Brett Wallace, who's grounded out to second. He's walked and has been hit by a pitch. Off the thumbs, and Giannis will flip Douglas at second, and that's all the Braves can get. Francisco's forced out. Wallace aboard with 2 down.
Just hit too slowly to have a chance at the double play, even with Wallace running.
Pretty good play by Giannis. Kind of right foot kind of slipped out from under him when he was trying to make that flip, and stayed with it.
JD Martinez has the Astros RBI tonight. Came on a 6th inning ground out.
Eric is tied for second in all of baseball in percentage of inherited runners that have scored. Tied with Jared Hughes of Pittsburgh. Cody Epley of the Yankees is first, but only by 1 inherited runner. Eric, at only 5% of the runners he's inherited have scored. 1 out of 20.
Hard to top last year's mark for O'Flaherty, who had a 0.98 season ERA. With those numbers Joe was talking about, he has been just as effective for the Braves in 2012. Swing, but Martinez still alive.
This guy's a good looking player. He came into the league last year, played about 50 games, hit a bunch of homers. Full season maybe catching up to him a little bit this year. As his averages dip below 250, but a good looking player.
O'Flaherty takes care of him in the 8th inning, and Hudson's line is complete. He leads
Toyota play of the game, and it involves that man, Paul Janisch, and it seems to be a recurring theme here. Nice play up the middle with runners at first and second. He saved a base hit, got the force out, got a little help from Dan Ugla's quick tap dance around the bag at second base, but that's our Toyota play of the game.
Said last night, this guy is so solid defensively, Tommy, you almost don't even notice he's there. And I meant that as a compliment.
No, it's an absolute compliment. It's like, I think 3 or 4 days ago I said a similar thing to where you don't hear many people talking about him, which is a great testament to him because he's just doing his job. So nobody's really complaining about what's gone on at the shortstop position and the injury to Simmons.
And speaking of Pendleton, he did have the hard cast taken off his right hand. He's wearing I guess a splint type cast. I don't know specifically what you call it, but that's what it looks like. Still not cleared for baseball activities yet.
Well, each progression from a big cast to a small cast, from a small cast to more of a splint, that's all progress. And in his mind, each time he changes into that different cast, he can get a little bit more range of motion, which is all on the road to recovery.
One and two to Paul Janisch, who leads off the 8th inning. Story back out there in his big league debut, and Paul pulls one well foul and out of play. Braves all of a sudden with this 6-1 homestand have burst out to 5 games over 500 at home.
Well, we're telling them they needed to pick up the pace.
They've been listening.
Popped up. Wallace at first. And he puts that away for the first out. Eric Hinsky will grab a bat. He'll hit for O'Flaherty.
So Story will remember his debut being here in Atlanta. You think he's going to remember it with Star Wars night?
Probably not.
No.
He'll remember getting Dan Ugla. That's what he'll remember.
And he'll remember his first pat on the back as well as a major league pitcher. He faced 2 hitters and he got them both out. His ERA is 0. A good start for Story, but a better night for the Braves. Debut tonight in Atlanta. Unforgettable moment for him, but a better moment, as I said earlier, for the Braves, who lead the ball game by a 4-1 score.
Reinert Cruz, the new chunker for the Stros. 35th game, .310 average against him for the year, and 5 of the hits he's allowed have been home runs. They've got there's 3 guys, I got to look at it again, out of their bullpen that have ERAs over 7. Cruz, Chucky Fick, and Fernando Rodriguez at 6.05, so only 2, with 1 guy at 6.
Hinske jumps on the first pitch, and it's a line drive on the chalk down the right field line. His bat's coming to life, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Seventh pinch hit of the year. Now 7 for 40. Getting hot at a good time.
They give way to Tyler Pasternaky, who will pinch run. So a night that started with 4 Braves doubles.
Just 1 more.
5 doubles among the 6 Braves hits tonight. And an RBI chance for Michael Bourne. Craig Kimbrell is up in the Braves pen.
Remember, he worked last night and had to throw a few pitches to get through the inning in a non-safe situation just to get some work in. If it's still a 3-run lead going to the 9th, he'll probably be in there, and if not, Avilan might be the guy that comes in instead. Ooh, Michael wants that one back.
Guy's bringing it. That was at 96. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one at 95, and Bourne is struck out. So Michael's modest 3-game hit streak comes to a close in the 8th inning tonight.
Well, he's going to strike out, and then when he looks at the tape, he's going to lament the fact that he let that one go right down the middle. That's the one he'd like to have back.
Another 2-hit game for Prado. A pair of doubles, an RBI, and a run. He's also walked twice. One ball, no strikes. They're in the 9th inning in Washington. Game 2 of the doubleheader. The Marlins lead the Nationals 5-1 with 2 outs.
It's like Josh Johnson, after giving up an early run, really settled in and got into a groove. That's good.
That's off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Slow roller toward first. Cruz to the bag, was fed beautifully by Wallace. That was a nice play. And the Braves are retired in inning number 8. It's a 4-1 score. Guess who's coming to the hill? Craig Kimbrell. 5th consecutive decision and his 11th victory for the season, turns the keys over to Craig Kimbrell. And he answers the AT&T call to the bullpen with the lower part of the order due up in the Houston ninth.
He'll be looking for his 31st save of the year. A 1.32 ERA. Walked a man last night. It's the first walk he'd issued since May 16th.
And Gretchen Caney, our statistician, said earlier tonight that he had 46 strikeouts in between walks. Remarkable. So Brian Bogusevich will pinch hit. One ball, no strikes.
Right at the target at 97.
He went one away in the ninth.
Hard to lay off that when you're thinking fastball.
And it looks kind of like it's going to be flat, but then it really takes a nosedive. I mean, I know he calls it I think he calls it a slider. It's very curvy to me, but it's so hard.
Yeah, it's kind of
a different plane.
A hard late. It's a late break.
Carlos Corpora on the batter. It seems too, guys, that Craig gets so many strikes on that pitch that isn't a strike because it's close enough to the zone for the hitter to offer. Nothing in two. We were talking too last night, Tommy, about the impact that Billy Wagner had on Craig Kimbrell in the infancy stages of his big league career.
He was a good guy to be around when you're learning the ropes, that's for sure.
The immediate comparison that people were given was Craig Kimbrell is a right-handed Billy Wagner. Very similar style of pitching, very similar build. Billy, of course, threw from the left side. Kimbrell got cannon for a right arm. Two and two. Tipped and caught. Two outs.
Corporon thought he was right on it and was a little surprised that Brian was able to hang on to that.
Jordan Schaefer's hit the ball on the button up the middle 3 times tonight. He's 1 for 3.
These fans love watching Craig Kimbrell do his thing.
We're 1 strike away. Ball game over. Kimbrel strikes out the side. The last pitch at 99 miles an hour. What a homestand for the Braves. The good work continues. Atlanta now 7-1 on this 10-game stretch. They beat Houston 4-1. And we'll recap it for you after this.